I was born in outside of Chicago. That's where half of my family is. And at a young age, around 4, we moved back to upstate New York. I really didn't live anywhere more than, I think the first time I lived somewhere more than 4 years was after I got out of the Army. Coming out of when I was in high school, the Army had that great campaign, save a dollar, get a dollar, this GI Bill, the hope of going to college. And that's what drew me to the military. And so I went to enlist. My recruiter, in hindsight, was just incredible. I took my ASVAB, took all kinds of tests, and he said, you really need to go in and be an officer. And I was like, I don't want to be an officer. I want a college education. And he's like, okay, let me teach you a little bit about this thing called the military. And because of his guidance, I went and applied for scholarships. My high school counselor helped me, and I was very fortunate. I was offered, 4-year full scholarships from both the Air Force and the Army, but I had to go in as an engineer. And I can do math, and, I could do it, but I was missing some math credits. And I thought, I want to be an English major. I want to maybe be a lawyer someday. I want to work with words. And the Air Force said, absolutely not. And the Army said, sure, go ahead, change your major. So that's how I ended up on my path with the military. I went to college for 4 years, first person in my family to actually, get a higher education. When I went in the military, the Army was going to send me down to Fort Bragg as a parachute rigger. So when I was in college, every summer I thought, let me learn a little bit about this. And every summer I went to Army training. So I went to airborne school my first summer. Next summer, I went to what they call Northern Warfare. They didn't open up to women except the summer phase, so I jumped on that so I could do that. By the end of my, college time, I thought, okay, I'll do the reserves, but I want to get out there now. I have this college career, and I want to get out and do it. And the Army said, no, you're going active duty. I thought that was the end of the world. I went on active duty, and I stayed for 25 years on active duty. And if you had said that to me when I was a young person coming out of college, I would have laughed at you and said that's ridiculous. But every time I thought maybe it's time I get out, something amazing happened, and it was always from the people around me. When I had served at all echelons, so as Mary walked through hers, I served at every echelon from tactical to operational to strategic. I ended my career at 25 years out in the DC area. It wasn't my idea of where I was going to retire, but life takes you on a new path, and so I remain outside the Metro DC area. And then after that, I went into defense contracting, which I said I'd never do when I was on active duty. But there was an incredible leader that folks always said, if you ever get the chance to work for her, don't pass it up. And so I had an opportunity to work for this leader that had been formerly in the Army as a civilian and in industry. And I thought I'll stay there a year or two. And I just passed my 10 years with the defense company. And so life doesn't always turn out the way you thought the plan was, but it ends up being pretty incredible. So